Okay, hello everyone. Okay, so the next program in chapter 2 is sales tax. Okay, so before I start, I have a slight cough, so sorry if you hear the cough. Sorry about that. Okay, it's been bothering me for a while now. Sorry about that. Sorry. Okay, so write a program that will ask the user to enter the amount of purchase. The program should then compute the state and county sales tax. Assume the state sales tax is 5% and the county sales tax is 2.5%. The program should display the amount of purchase, the state sales tax, the county sales tax, the total sales tax, and the total of the sale, which is the sum of the amount of purchase plus the total sales tax. Okay. All right. And it's given us a hint over here. It says use the value 0.025 to represent 2.5% and 0.05 to represent 5%. So, the reason it's saying we should use, I have a calculator here, let me just clear it. All right. The reason it's saying we should use, The reason it's saying we should use 0.025 to represent 2.5% and 0.05 to represent 5% is because for 2.5%, when you enter, for example, 2.5%, okay, 2.5 divided by 100, which is 2.5%, it gives you 0.025. And when you enter, for 5%, when you enter 5%, 5 divided by 100, 5%, it gives you 0.05. So that's why it's saying we should use 0.025 and 0.05 to represent, 2.5% and 5% respectively. Okay. Sorry for the cough. Okay, so write a program that will ask the user to enter the amount of purchase. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, the program is asking us to ask the user to enter the amount of purchase. We should go ahead and calculate the sales tax, the county tax, the total tax, which is going to be the sales tax plus the county tax, and then the total. Okay, the total is going to be the amounts the user purchased the item plus the total tax. Okay, so let's go ahead and first ask the user to enter the amount of a purchase. Okay, so I'm going to do that with the input function. Okay, so I'm going to ask the user, please enter the amount of purchase. Okay, so once I do that, now the input function, whatever is typed into the input, or the input function, anything the input function returns is returned as a string. Now, if the user typed in, for example, 4,000 will be stored as, or will be returned as a string. But we can't use strings in calculation. So before we use that 4,000, we need to convert it to a number so we can use it. In this case, we have to convert it to a float because the user can type in, for example, $4,200.50. So 4,200.50. So we need to convert it to a float so we can get the whole number. If we convert it to an integer, we wouldn't get anything after the decimal point. So we need to convert it to a float so we can get a decimal value in case the user types in a decimal value. So I'm going to do that with the float function, and I'm going to surround everything of the input function with parentheses. So let me just put spaces here so we see it. So again, sorry for the coughing. So I'm converting everything the user typed into a float. And once I do that, I need a place to store it. That value is going to be the user amount of purchase. Okay, I'm going to call the variable user amount of purchase. It's going to be the amount the user purchased the item. So I'm going to call the variable user amount of purchase. Okay. User amount of purchase. All right. So this hit the line exactly. So we are fine. Okay. I don't want to exceed 80 characters on a line. That's kind of a Python thing. Okay. You're trying to write our code so that we don't exceed 80 characters on a line. That's why this line is there, to serve as a guide. Okay, so now we have the user amount of purchase. So we can go ahead and calculate the tax, okay, because the program said we should ask for the amount of purchase, which we've done. The program should then compute the state and county sales tax. So let's start with the state tax. The program said we should use, okay, it said over here, the program should compute the state and county sales tax. Assume the state sales tax is 5%. And the program said we should use 0.05 to represent 5%. So first, let's go ahead and calculate the sales tax. I'm going to call it sales tax. Now, sales tax is going to be, remember, 5%. Okay, 5% is for sales tax. Sales tax is 5%. So 5% is 0.05. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate 5% off the user's amount of purchase. Okay, 5% of the user's amount of purchase. Okay, or user amount of purchase. So 5%, we know that's 0.05. 0.05. So 0.05, okay, it's 5% off. You can read the multiplication sign as off. Okay, so 5% off user amount of purchase. Oops, I forgot I put the semicolon. That's in Java. Sometimes I code in Java, so I tend to do that in Python. But Python doesn't have it. Doesn't. Sorry. sorry for the cough. Python doesn't terminate their statement. Okay, so now we have 5%, okay, off user amount of purchase. So we can go ahead and calculate the county sales tax, because now we have the sales tax. Sorry. Oops. Sorry, this is not sales tax. I meant to type state tax. Okay, state tax. State and county sales tax. That's what we are calculating. State and county sales tax. Assume the state sales tax is 5%. Okay, so we are calculating 5%, which is 0.05 to represent 0.05 represents 5%. So 5% off the user amount of purchase, which is going to give us our state tax. Okay, state tax, not sales tax. It's the state sales tax. Okay, so the next thing we're going to calculate is the county sales tax, and we've been told over here that county sales tax is 2.5%, and 2.5% is also is the same as 0.025. So I'm going to create another variable, and I'll call it county tax, and that's going to be 0.025, which is 2.5% off. You can read the multiplication sign as off user amount of purchase. Okay, so state tax is 0.05 times user amount of purchase, which is 5% of user amount of purchase. County tax is 0.025, which is 2.5% times user amount of purchase, which reads 2.5% of user amount of purchase. Okay, so now we have the user's amount of purchase, we have the state tax, we have the county tax. Now the program said we should go ahead. See, the program should display the amount of purchase, the state sales tax, the county sales tax, the total sales tax. So that's the next thing we're going to calculate. Total tax. I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to call it total tax. Now we have both taxes here. We have the state tax and we have the county tax. So the total tax is now going to be the two of them added together. So total tax is going to be equal to state tax plus county tax. The program goes on to say, okay, the total sales tax and the total of the sale. Okay, so I'm going to create another variable, and I'll call it total, or total sale. Now total sale is going to be the amount the user purchased the item, okay, without any taxes, okay, plus the total tax, okay, after all the plus all the taxes. So the amount the user purchased the item sorry, without any taxes, plus now the taxes. Okay, so total tax is going to be user amount of purchase plus total tax. Okay, so now we have all the variables here. That's what the program wants us to display. The program should display the amount of purchase. We have it here. The state sales tax, we have it here. The county sales tax, which is here. The total sales tax, which is total tax. And the total of the sale, which is total sale. Okay. It even gives us a hint, which is the sum of the amount of purchase, plus the total sales tax plus total tax. Okay, so now all we have to do is just print it out. So I'm going to go ahead and call the print function. Okay, so I want to use only one print statement to print everything out. So it might look a bit confusing, but if you follow along carefully, you should understand it. If not, please comment down in the comment sections and I'll do everything to respond to them. Okay, so so first of all, we're going to go ahead and print. I'm going to print a string, and that string is going to, because the first thing it wants us to display is the amount of purchase. So I'm going to say amount of purchase. That's just going to be a regular string. And I'm going to concatenate that string to the formatted version. Okay, I'm going to format a variable so that it looks like a dollar amount. Okay, amount of purchase now is going to be equal to the formatted version of, okay, the format takes two arguments. So the first argument is what I'm formatting. I'm formatting amount of purchase, okay, which is user amount of purchase here. And the second argument in the format is going to be, how do you want to format this? It goes in quotations. Now, because user amount of purchase, the user is a float, the user can type, because we are converting what the user types to a float. So because that's a float, I'm going to type F, which stands for float. I'm creating a format specifier now. I'm typing F, and I want that this amount rounded to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to put the precision which is 0.2 in front of the F. Okay, so 0.2 means round it to 2 decimal places. Round the float to 2 decimal places. And put commas where necessary. I'm going to put a comma in front of all of them. Put commas where necessary means if it's a million, I want to see 1, 000, 000. I want it to automatically put commas where necessary, so the value looks like a dollar amount. So I'm going to put a comma before the precision, before the type, which is float F. Oops, I switched it. Okay, so I'm going to put a comma before the precision, before the precision, and then before the type. Okay, so that's going to be my first item in the first argument in the print function. So I'm going to go ahead and put a comma here. Now, because I don't want to exceed 80 characters on a line, I don't want to cross this line, I'm going to go ahead and break out of this loop. I'm going to go ahead and, why did I say loop? I'm going to go ahead and break this line onto a next line. Okay, not a loop. I'm breaking, this is the first argument. I don't want to exceed this line here, which is, I don't want to exceed 80 characters on a line. So I'm going to break this on a new, on a new line. Okay, and I want to break it. But before you break anything, okay, in Python, you use a backslash. You type the backslash, and then you break it. You can go ahead and break it. Okay, so the next argument is going to be a dollar value too. But before that, let me put a dollar sign here so that a dollar sign displays in front of the amounts that I formatted. So it looks like a real dollar value. It's going to have commas in between. It's going to be rounded to 2 decimal places and as a float. So for the second argument, I'm passing into my print function. Now it's separated by a comma here. This comma here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and type that one out, and then the rest I'll probably copy and paste. But let me go ahead and type the second one so we get familiar with it. So amount of purchase, the second thing the program wants us to display, okay, the amount of purchase, the state sales tax. Okay, we have state sales tax and state tax. So now I'm going to create another string. Sorry, that's going to be my second argument in the print function. So that's going to be state tax. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and concatenate. First, I'll put a dollar sign here. I'm sorry for the cough. It's been bothering me for a while now. I'm sorry. So the state tax is going to be, I'm going to concatenate the string to the formatted version of state tax. Okay, just space this out. Oops. And I want it formatted the same way I formatted the user amount of purchase. I already have a dollar sign here. I'm formatting it as a float because it's an amount. I want to round it to 2 decimal places, and I want commas where necessary. Okay, and once you're done with that, go ahead and Once you're done with that, go ahead and hit the comma. Okay, so that I can put in the next argument in the print function. So now I have 2 arguments. This whole argument is 1, and this whole argument is another. So the third argument is going to be, we have the state tax. The next argument is going to be the county tax. So the program should display the amount of purchase, the state sales tax, the county sales tax. So that's the next thing, county sales tax. Now I already have this. I already have this whole argument. All I have to do is change it to county. So I'm going to paste it as the next one. But guess what? We have crossed this line, and I don't want to cross this line. So I'm going to break this line here. Before I concatenate this string, this whole string to this function, to this function, it's going to return a string. So to this function, I am going to break it here. And before you break the line, you need a backslash, and I'm going to hit enter. So it's continuing. It's nothing to it apart from that. Apart from the fact that it's continuing. Okay, so all I need to do is just change this text to county tax. I need to change all these settings. I don't like all the highlighting and all that stuff. Okay, so I'm changing this to county tax and changing the variable to county tax. Okay, so the next arguments, now I can go ahead and I'll paste this. I'll paste what I copied again, because all I have to do is just change a couple of values. All right, so the next argument I need to print out, okay, the state sales tax, the county sales tax, the total sales tax, which is total tax. So all I need to do is just change this string to total tax and change the variable to total tax. Sorry. And I'm going to put a comma here. I'm going to type in the backslash and break this line so I can add in the last argument. I still have what I copied, copy it. So I'm going to go ahead and paste it and change the string to total sale, because that's the last thing the program wants us to display. Because over here it says the total sales tax, which we've done, and the total of the sale. So the total of the sale is now going to be the last argument. So I'm going to go ahead and change this string, total sale, $ here. I'm going to concatenate it with the formatted version of total sale. And we're done. But the thing is, when we run this is going to print on a straight line, but we'll fix it. So first, let's go ahead and debug this. I'm going to save it. Okay, so on the desktop, Python. Okay, so this is sales tax. So I'm going to create a folder for that. And then sales tax.py. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, please enter the amount of purchase. I'm going to enter 2,000. and it looks like it's displaying the right values, the right output. But look, everything is displayed horizontally. I want to display vertically so we can see it. This is not clear enough, although it looks like it's displaying the right output. So by default, the separator between the thing that separates these arguments passed into the print function is a space. But we can go ahead and change it to something else. In this case, I'm going to change it to a new line character. So I'm going to add another argument. I'm going to put a comma and add another argument, a comma. Okay, I'll delete it. I'm going to put a comma. Okay. I hope I didn't confuse anyone. This is how the program was. Okay, I'm just adding another argument in the print function. So I'm going to put the comma and add the last argument, which is SEP for separator. It stands for separator. So we are changing the separator from the default, which was a space, to a new line character, which is \n. Okay, so the two together, the backslash and the n, is the new line character. So we are changing the separator from a default, which is a space, to a new line character. So now the space, or the space, the space that's separating, sorry, not the space. The space that's separating these values, so that's one here. This is the first space that's separating the values. This is another one that's separating. There's another one here, and this is another one here. So the space that's separating these arguments passed into the print function is now going to change to a new line character. So instead of a space, now these arguments are going to be separated by a new line character. So I'm going to debug it one last time and type in. I'm going to debug it one more time and type in 2000. And see, now it's separated with a new line character, with a new line. So amount of purchase is $2,000, and so you can see that it's putting commas where necessary. It's rounded to 2 decimal places, and it has a dollar sign in front of it. So $2,000. State tax is $100. County tax is $50. Total tax is $150. It added these two taxes together, and total sale is $2,150 because it added the total tax to the amount of purchase, and it gave us $2,150. Okay, so we're done. If you don't want these things matching together, you don't want the outputs and the question matching together, or mashing together, or jamming together, you can go ahead and, before you print out these arguments, you can put a new line character in front of it, like this, in front of all this output, and print it out. So it's going to have a line or a new line after the question. So I'm going to debug it and run it and put in, let's say, 5,000. Hit enter, and now we have a new line here before the output. So amount of purchase, this, and it looks good. All right, so let's just take this away. All right, if you have any questions, please comment down below, and I'll do everything to respond to them. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time with the next program. Bye-bye.